Hello and welcome back once again to the Cocked Dice, where I bring you my weekly painting update along with other random thoughts and stuff I've done. This week has pretty much entirely been about these guys. As you know, if you've been watching the channel recently, I've been very much into playing Perilous Tales from Mike Hutchinson, and obviously most of my collection is kind of 1920s, 30s, 40s-ish. And I fancied a bit of pulp sci-fi. I kind of fancied this for quite a while. It just so happens that Bombshell Miniatures runs a Patreon, and their April Patreon was these rather cool models. So I signed up for that, and it turns out that May's is actually back to 1930s and 40s stuff, so I've carried on subbing into May, and I'll grab them and paint them up as well, because there's a rather cool kind of Not Phantom and some other various cool characters he's got coming up. So I'll give you some close-ups of these guys. So this is going to be Butch Sullivan in space. You can tell it's Butch because he's got two pistols. The models are really nicely detailed. They're digital sculpts. They come in multi-parts. I'll show you some of the parts in a minute because I've got some more 3D printed ones. Kind of wanted to go with a kind of Cosmic Rangers type look. So that's Butch with his gold command shoulders and two pistols. I've got a couple with another one with some sort of jetpack, jump pack type. So there's a mix of male and female torsos and faces in here. What else we got? So I've marked this one out with a red shoulders as some sort of heavy, armed with two pistols. The rest obviously have got white shoulders, so they're just normal models. I was going to do this one as some sort of medic. Now I've started sculpting up a couple of extra hand bits for these, so I'm going to drop some extra detail on this model afterwards, possibly pop that hand off and put a hand holding some sort of medical device in there. Green's going to be kind of science officers. Yes, this means I have actually thought about this before I did it. And then there's stuff like this rather cool android. He did a resculpt of this from, I think it was his Kickstarter originally. He's done a repose of it. That was a really nice one-piece model. And this kind of Space Queen lassie, again, it's a really nice sculpt. The details are lovely on it. I've kept a fairly simple bold paint job on it just to make it show off over the table. So yeah, this week's mainly about these guys. And stuff, and I'll show you some of the stuff at the moment. So some terrain. I literally couldn't fit this on my static camera, so I'll have to give you a quick view. This is a depot kind of office building from TT Combat. It's an MDF range. It was dirt cheap. I've had it sat around sprayed black for absolutely ages, and I had a kind of free day the other day while I had the airbrush out doing some other bits and pieces where I decided to whack some colour onto it. So literally all I've done here is just black undercoat, sprayed over it with a bunch of different colours, so kind of brownish colour for the walls, greys, hand painted all the beams, plain red doors, there's some windows on this side. I don't want to show you this side because I've messed a lot of the weathering up, and then the rest of it was basically a really good excuse to try out a load of my new weathering inks from AK Interactive. And so I just threw a load of these on, so this kind of mossy one, various grimes and rusts and grottiness. But yeah, I just wanted to try it out. I had a free hour or so. This literally took about an hour or so. It came out pretty well. I'm quite chuffed with it. And again, I can't quite fit this into frame, but I'll just kind of walk through. Obviously I've got a resin printer. I've been printing a lot in the last week or so. So I'll kind of talk through some of the stuff that may be coming up on the channel over the next few weeks. So I done loads and loads of pulp stuff. So down here there's, I'll move that out of the way. There's pulp stuff. So the pulp, just about to see that. Bombshell Miniatures Kickstarter. Bombshell Miniatures Patron. These are the bodies, so you can see separate bodies, hands. There's some jetpacks here. They're all really tiny. So there's a bunch of various kind of sci-fi pulp stuff. There's rat swarms, because you can never have enough rat swarms. Charlie asked me to sort out some rat swarms and other bits and pieces for him. So while I was doing a plate for him, I did a bunch of these and I've scaled them down a little bit so they'll fit on top of my normal round bases. I've started getting together the bits for a blob scenario. So these are kind of slime creatures. We've got some tentacles that need cleaning up because the printer went wrong, but I can fix that. They're only tentacles. Perfect. And this is cool. This is a blob. I've got a little bit of cleanup to do where I've had a little bit of wobble on the printer, but that's just a little bit of filing. A great big slimy thing. Some more terrain. So I've done some industrial tanks. These are hollow, so that's why they've got big holes in the top, and I'll fill the holes up. Again, I had a bit of an error. I think there might be a bit of wobble on my printer, so you can just see this line that runs across here. It's a bit more obvious on this side. That's actually cut into the print, so I might have to do something about that. You can see these ones, it failed there. The other end of this is stuck to the printer bed. I need to remove it later, so I think I'll trash these up. This is cool. Found this model on Thingiverse. For anyone who likes Star Wars and has been watching it, it's the Mandalorian, of course, with the baby Yoda. It's a one-piece model, and the Yoda's actually attached to his cloak. Someone's done a remix of it. It's a really nice model. So I've absolutely no idea why. I don't need him at all. I just think he's quite cool. I've kind of scaled him for Legion. He's about 37mm tall. So he'll fit with, hang on, sorry, I'm doing scale. So you should fit with most of my figures that I have fairly easily. Other stuff, I've got loads of these. I've got loads of these weird alien plants. I really like this model. I've got a bunch of different ones. I've got another one here. Just thought they were pretty cool. I'm going to base these up. I think I might do a tutorial video on making some alien terrain. Might do that next week. I've got a few bits I need to put on order. So, in fact, well, I've done some test models. Hang on. There we go. So this is a test model for just basing it up. Just trying out some different stuff. Yeah, you see the line on there as well. So obviously there's a wobble on my printer at a specific height, and it's creating that line across it. I'll have to go and investigate it. But there we have it. It's I'm going to base it up on and kind of match a lot of my existing terrain. So I've used loads of this cork stuff. Though I've learned apparently if you super glue the edges, it helps the paint stop chipping off because my existing stuff's got bashed around the box. But I'm going to do some bigger pieces of this, kind of 4 or 5 times. This is a 60mm base. It's just a MDF base I've got stock. I'll do some much bigger pieces with some bigger rock formations on it, and a few of these. I'll probably do some rescales of these as well to do some bigger and smaller ones. But I just ran off a batch on the printer. What else is in here? Some rather cool, I think these are from Star Wars. I have no idea, probably on the animated series. I kind of like them. They look innocuous enough to that they're not really specific to any particular kind of brand. So I'm just going to paint them up. I don't know what colours yet. If you've got any ideas for colours, give me a shout. These are obviously going to face off against Butch and his Rocket Rangers, Cosmonauts, whatever I'm going to call them, at some point. This was part of the Bombshells Miniatures starter set. Unfortunately, I had a bunch of failures on printing, so I've only got 2 of these that worked and some random spare parts. So I was hoping for 4 of them, just because they're kind of cool. I've just based them up. I'm not sure I'm going to do the base yet. Should really do some sort of tech base for it, so I might strip that off the base and do something more interesting for it. And if you see my Facebook post, this cool guy, I was kind of looking for a fattish robot, and I found a couple of models, and they were a bit sort of steampunky, fantasy-esque, and I didn't really work for 1950s-esque pulp, so I went off and sculpted my own. So this is all made in Tinkercad. If you check out my Thingiverse link, which I think I put on the post about this guy, the model's up, it's free, you're welcome to go and print it. It's just kind of cool. I wanted just a fat little robot thing. I'm going to do some alternate arms for him and some equipment at some point. Kind of tried to keep it 1950s retro with a kind of ribbed body. I've made him hunched over. He was kind of broadly based on another model I found that was a kind of steampunk model. and I've just kind of retroed it up a bit. I've got some alternative heads for him, but I kind of like this Portal-esque head he's got here. I just think it's quite cool. Again, no idea what colours he's going to be. I'll paint him at some point. So on the paint table this week is this little lot. I started most of this last night. Just got some base colours down. These are Dungeon Doggies from Steamforged Games. Our brother-in-law sent these over quite a while ago, and about 4 weeks ago, and asked if I'd paint them up. So they've finally got onto the paint table. I've just done the basic colours at the moment, all done with contrast, just one colour on, get it based out. I'll do the highlights and some of the shades and colour variants I want to do, because they're animals, they're a bit of a pain to do that sort of thing on. Give them a wash, and then I'll do all the armour last, so it stays nice and metallic. Blood Raven, Smash Captain. Just got the base colours down on him last night. Got him washed up, so I'll get him moving this week as well. I've got a conversion video for this guy as well, because he's pretty awesome. And finally, a couple of werewolves. These are, again, for the pulp. I painted the wolves for these a couple of weeks ago. It's one of the scenarios requires a wolf man, a young wolf, and some normal wolves. So that's another pulp scenario all ready to go. So yeah, that's next week. So thank you very much for joining us once again. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Click the little notification icon and you'll get all the latest updates from the channel. Cheers for now. See you all soon.